Hollywood judged Anne Hathaway harshly, but years later she had the last laugh. There was a time when Anne Hathaway was one of the most criticized actresses in Hollywood. She was successful, talented, and starring in major movies, but somehow, the internet decided it didn't like her. And what makes her story so interesting is that Anne didn't respond by disappearing. She kept working, she kept improving, and eventually, she became the kind of actress Hollywood couldn't ignore. Anne Hathaway first became widely known as Mia Thermopolis in The Princess Diaries. For many viewers, she was the awkward teenager who suddenly discovered she was a princess. The movie became a huge success, and Anne quickly became a recognizable young star. But her career wasn't going to stay in the world of feel-good movies. She started taking on more challenging roles, proving that she wasn't just a princess movie actress. Then came one of the biggest turning points of her career, The Devil Wears Prada. As Andy Sachs, Anne played a young woman entering the brutal world of fashion journalism alongside Meryl Streep's Miranda Priestly. The movie became a cultural phenomenon, and Anne's performance helped establish her as a serious Hollywood actress. But despite her success, something strange was happening outside the movies. The public perception of Anne Hathaway started changing. She became the target of intense online criticism. Some people felt she came across as overly rehearsed or too eager to please. Eventually, the criticism became so widespread that it turned into something much bigger than simply disliking an actress. Anne later spoke about how painful that period was. Imagine being famous, successful, and surrounded by opportunities, and still feeling like millions of people have decided they don't like you. But instead of allowing that moment to define her career, Anne continued moving forward. And then came Les Misérables. For the role of Fantine, Anne underwent an enormous physical and emotional transformation. She lost weight for the role and gave an extremely intense performance. Her rendition of I Dreamed a Dream became one of the most talked about moments in the film. And the result? Anne Hathaway won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Think about the irony. The actress who had become the subject of so much public criticism was now standing on one of Hollywood's biggest stages holding an Oscar. But her comeback didn't stop there, and continued taking on different kinds of roles. She appeared in Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, starred in The Intern, returned to major franchises, and continued proving that she could move between comedy, drama, action, romance, and serious character work. And something else changed too. The internet changed. The culture around celebrity changed. And people started looking back at Anne Hathaway differently. Many began questioning why they had disliked her in the first place. Some even started calling it the Hathahate era, a period when the backlash against her seemed completely disproportionate to anything she had actually done. Anne herself eventually developed a much healthier attitude toward public opinion. She learned that she couldn't control how everyone perceived her. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson in her story, because Hollywood doesn't always reward you immediately. Sometimes the audience gets the wrong impression. Sometimes the internet decides who you are before it actually knows you. And sometimes the best response isn't fighting every critic. It's continuing to build your career. Today, Anne Hathaway isn't remembered simply as the actress from The Princess Diaries. She's an Oscar winner. She starred in some of the most recognizable movies of the last few decades. And she's built a career that has survived changing trends, changing audiences, and one of the strangest waves of celebrity backlash in recent Hollywood history. The woman people once loved to criticize didn't need to win every argument online. She simply kept going. And years later, her career became the answer. Maybe Anne Hathaway didn't actually have the last laugh. Maybe she just kept working until nobody could ignore her anymore.